Hello, my name is Suzanne Howard. I am the senior pastor and apostle of the Apostles' House, located at 131 East Elliott Street in Hartford, Connecticut. Our services are at 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. each Sunday, and our Bible study is at 7 p.m. on Wednesdays. We look forward to having you join us at one of our services. You can look us up on the internet at www.theapostleshouse.net. Welcome to our YouTube page, and we hope to hear from you soon. God bless you.
I'd like to give honor to God, head of our household. We give honor to Apostle Susan Howard, Elder Kenji, Elder Manny, Pastor D, and all of the ministers and ADTs in their respectful places. As you see over here, I gave Elder Manny a basketball, which is probably one of my accomplishments, playing basketball. And if you look at it, just flip it around a little bit, it has my name and it says 1,000-point career points. February 13, 2008. So Elder Manny, I want you to hold on to that with Pastor D.
All right.
And that represents, the 1,000 points represents the thousands of things that you may encounter being married.
All right.
Whether it be ups, whether it be downs, it's going to be thousands of them, maybe more than 1,000. But just look at it at just 1,000. That represents your marriage. So as we move forward, if you could just pass it around to each couple to hold on to it, and as a service, it reminds you of the thousands of things that you'll go through. Amen? Amen. All right. Now, if you just stand and open up your Bibles to Genesis 1, verse 27 through 28. No, you just hold on to it. Hold on to it. I'm saying just share it. You can hold one person can hold it for a little bit and pass it back and forth whenever you feel, it's getting too heavy for you. All right? There you go. Genesis 1:27. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him, male and female. He created them. Then God blessed them, and God said to them, be fruitful and multiply. Fill the earth and subdue it. Have dominion over the fish of the sea, over birds of the air, and over every living thing that moves on the earth. Amen. You can have your seat.
All right.
Okay. Now, as you see, in Genesis, God established a franchise. He created his team in Adam and Eve. Now, a team. Now, he gave them a contract in verse 20. Then God blessed them, and God said to them, be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth and subdue it, have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, and over every living thing that moves on earth. That was their contract. God established his franchise. Now he has his team in Adam and Eve. Team God. Let's call it Team God. Amen. Now, let's take a look at our own team and our own marriages and compare it to the team of an NBA franchise, per se. An NBA team is an established franchise, but it does not become a franchise overnight. Now, in order to become an established franchise, two of the most established franchises in the NBA is the Los Angeles Lakers and the Boston Celtics. I believe combined they have over 30 championships between both. Now, that's an established franchise. They've been around for years. The Kobe Bryants went through, the Bill Russell went through, the Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I mean, these guys were great. So they established, they have confirmed the franchises. It takes years to become a successful franchise. Now, franchise consists of several different levels of operation. Now, the three that we'll most see or hear or talked about is the owner, the GM, and the coach. Now, the owner, he owns the team. You know, he's the big shot. He calls the shots from the top. Now, we have our GM, which is our general manager. He's in charge of signing contracts, negotiating contracts, hiring and firing coaches. And if you're not a so well-off player, then you might be cut from the team. Now, but if we have no investors, we have no team. Even though we have the owner still need investors. That's why he's watching the game. You see the State Farm's logo. You see the AT&T Stadium, Dunkin' Donuts, and they're now talking about adding, advertisement on the jerseys next year. Right. So they need those investors to keep afloat, pay these players the millions of dollars that they're playing for. Yeah. Amen? Amen? Now, as married couples, we are a team, as we already established, between God, Adam, and Eve. We are a franchise, and God is our owner. Right. He's our GM. Okay. And most importantly, he's our biggest investor. Amen. God invested his son into us. Now, he sent his only son to the cross to bear our burdens. Now, that's investing. Now, our vows before God is our contract. God gave Adam and Eve their contract in verse 28 as I read. Now, this is an example of a vow that we may say, our contract that we'll sign before God on the day of our married, we combine and become one. Example, I, sir, choose you, man, to be my wife, to share all that I am and all that I have, for all time to come. Come on now. I have emptied my heart and all others is only filled with you. You're my best friend, my only love, and I'll cherish you for the rest of my life. And I promise to do all in my power with God's help to keep my love as deep as strong it is today. Now, once we say I do, we sign the contract before God. So think about it. It's a binding contract before God. We exchanged vows. We made promise to each other through sitting in his health. I do. Yes. So, with that being said, now let's learn how to develop some skills in the game of basketball.
Skills. Everybody familiar with the skills of basketball, right? Well, in basketball, we know that we have basketball is a fast-paced game that requires the knowledge and instinct to perform quickly and properly. So the sport of basketball, it requires 5 basic skills. And while some players might be more experienced with some skills than others, it is best that we have at least some ability in all the areas. So one of the skills is shooting. Everybody familiar with the shooting skill in basketball? So you always miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. A great shooter is always optimistic about their next shot. They truly believe that every shot that they shoot will hit nothing but net. That's right. This optimism keeps them focused on what is most important and helps them to persist through the temporary struggles that all great shooters face at times. So what does that say in our marriage? We have to never stop trying in our marriage. Woo! Love is what keeps us trying. And the institution of family is something that is ordained by God. You better say it. This institution has been founded on the foundation of love. So to try to stand on anything other than the foundation of love will pervert the entire institution. So we have to believe that no matter what we face in our marriages, love is what will keep us. And love will help us to be persistent through temporary struggles. A great shooter is constantly aware of their shooting technique, style, and action. And if their shot does not fall through the basket, then they are immediately able to pinpoint where they went wrong. They make adjustments and they shoot again. Always being aware and observant to everything within the outside of themselves. In marriage, we have to constantly be aware of our goals. And when we fall short or when things don't go as though we thought they were, we have to pinpoint where they went wrong, and we have to make adjustments in them. You have to be goal-oriented. A great shooter consistently sets themselves shooting goals and objectives on a daily, weekly, and a yearly basis. They strive with discipline and determination to achieve these goals at each shooting and training session. In our marriages, we have to keep a goal in mind. A lot of times we think that we put in enough, and now it's like divorce is like at an all-time high right now, especially in the church. And it's because we stopped mastering our shots. We stopped believing that every shot we take is going to hit the net. We stopped practicing technique, style, and realizing that the more we practice long-suffering and mercy in our marriages, then the more long-term benefit we will gain, and the more likely our marriage will start to improve. So we have to practice with a purpose. A great shooter practices with a sense of purpose. They don't play for the moment. Instead, they have a long-term vision of a future with a purpose that is greater than a fleeting moment on the basketball court. They play for this higher purpose every moment they pick up the ball. It is this purpose that drives and pushes them forward to improve and raise their game to even a higher level. So we have to practice with a desire to succeed. We have to practice through repetition. We have to practice through building, through conditioning. We have to practice with a positive expectation, because every great shooter always expects the very best, no matter how bad or how hard the circumstances is. They expect to make the shot. So another skill that we have is defensive skills. Anybody familiar with defense? So we have defensive skills. The idea in the defensive skill is not to block every shot, but the idea is to make your opponent believe that you're going to block every shot. So in marriage, we use prayer as that defensive skill. We might not block every attack. We might not chase away every demon or win every fight. But with a strong prayer life, the enemy will believe that we might just do that. So that's the mindset that we have to have as partners in our marriage. We have to believe that we might block every shot. We have passing skills. One man can be a crucial ingredient on a team, but one man cannot make a team. You can't be selfish in marriage. You can't be a me man in your marriage. You have to learn how to pass the ball when you can no longer hold it. Passing sets up winning shots. Passing is the quickest and most effective way to get the ball from player to player and move around the court. The more passes that are made by the offense, the more you challenge the defense. So it keeps them scrambling, it keeps them frustrated, it keeps them tired, and the perfect end result of a series of well-executed passes is an open man close to the basket. So passing is an absolutely critical and essential component to the game of basketball. It naturally encourages communication, movement, and teamwork that are in themselves essential components to the formation of a successful team on the basketball court. Passing is utilized as a means to create scoring opportunities for your teammates. It utilizes these effective passing strategies throughout the game at the precise and specific moments discussed. We have to develop a basketball mindset. You have to have personal spirit. You have to believe in self and ability on the court. You have to believe in yourself and your ability at all times. You're never going to be perfect because you're always going to have room to improve and growth to gain. So you can't never doubt yourself at any capacity for an instant event. We have to guard our emotions, our minds, and our thoughts. Without a question, there is no doubt that we are very emotional people. we are emotional. It's great when it's working for us. However, if our emotions begin to sabotage the process towards our basketball goals and ambitions in our marriage, then they become a major hurdle in our lives. This is why it's absolutely critical that you guard your emotions at all times. Don't let circumstances on or off the basketball court impact your game plan. Do not allow your personal feelings to get in the way. And most importantly, don't allow other players, spectators, umpires, coaches to push your emotional buttons. You are always in charge of your emotions and your mind. For example, your emotions will move you from holy matrimony to adultery. Easy. We have to understand that adultery is the result of emotional adultery. Jesus warned us, he said, don't look at a woman with lust in your heart. He says, if you have looked at a woman with lust in your heart, then you have already committed adultery. What is he saying? He's saying that the root of adultery is initiated in your emotions. When you become emotionally attractive to somebody else, you don't have to touch them. You don't have to have intercourse with them. But the danger of it is when you start sharing emotions. Negative emotions, emotions that you may have got because of some problem in your household. And now you're saying to that woman or to that man, here's how I'm feeling. And then they tell you, here's how I'm feeling. And then now you both discover that you're feeling the same way. And that is wanting, and what I'm able to give is what he's able to give me. And what has happened here, you have an emotional connection, and now emotional adultery has taken place. And now this is what happens. Divorce doesn't take place until this is, first of all, until it's the hardening of the heart. And every time you think about what you're not getting from your spouse, then you have entered into an emotional conversation with another person. Every time you think, you know what, I'm not getting this from my spouse, and now you're emotionally attractive to the potential of what I can get from this person that I talk to. So then all of a sudden your hearts get hard, and as it gets hard, because every time you think about what you're not getting and what's not available to you, your hearts get hard again, and they get hard again. And the results of this is, you know what, I think I want a divorce now. So now you play around and you flirt around pretending like the relationship can be possible. And there's a delusion that takes place because all of a sudden it's happening emotionally. And now you are with your emotions, you already participating in adultery, and just the act of it hasn't taken place yet. So the solution to that is there should be limitations on who you share your emotional feelings with. Definitely if it's the opposite sex. Sometimes we go through things in our marriage, and we sometimes, instead of going to our leader or our pastor, we go to friends, we go through a coworker, and sometimes it's the same sex that we go to. And we go to these people and we think that, you know, it's not going to cause anything in us or stir anything up in us, but we should never go to anybody of the opposite sex unless it's your leader, your spiritual leader. Because if you have emotional challenges with your husband or with your wife, the last thing you want to do is talk to them about emotional things that you're going through. If you have something emotional things to talk to, then talk to, I would prefer women, talk to another woman. Don't talk to a man friend about things that's going on in your household with your husband. Talk to somebody that you can trust about those emotional things that you're going through. But if you don't want to talk to a man because that man may say, you know, he may say, come to me, you know, you look nice today, you smell good. And we take it as a compliment, and we don't realize that it's something that we've been thirsty for. It's something that we wanted for our husband. So it sounds cunning, it sounds good, but it's not right. So, like, for example, I'm going to give an example. A few months ago, I do male and female clients. And so I have a male client who he always seemed to share with me his personal issues with his relationship. So he had begun to share with me his relationship issues, and he was asking me my opinion. And I was sharing with him how sometimes, I go through the same thing even in marriage. Just like, it's not only you, it's not only single things. We all go through that. But again, this is a single man. He's not married. So I said to him, I go through the same things in my marriage, and he's sharing some of the things that women do that he don't understand, and I'm sharing some of the things with him that men do that we don't understand, that I don't understand. So I come home and I'm sharing with my husband, and I'm like, I was having a conversation with such and such today, and we were just sharing and we were just converting, and I was hee laughing or whatever, and he looking at me like, like, he looking at me like he want to get up and slap me. And the whole time I'm just talking to him, and then so he asked me, he said, "Do you really think it's appropriate to talk with another man, a single man, about your relationship or any issues that you may have?" And I'm like, whatever, you tripping. It ain't even that serious. You know what I'm saying? It's not even that serious. And when I got all defensive, and this is what we're talking about stuff. Now I've been in a situation where I'm having an emotional thing with my husband, and I started sharing with him, and he had no business or right to hear it, then he could have set me up. Yes. And I would have been thinking, like, oh man, like he's giving me everything that my husband's not giving me. And he's thinking, man, she's giving me everything that I want. And ain't nobody touched each other yet. And that's the deception. We think that the problem is when you touch each other. It's when we touch each other's emotions. That's where the problem's coming at. So that's what we call allowing your emotions to rule your life. And now we're moving from next point to next point to next point. And then once you wake up, you're like, oh my God, like what happened is kind of what Adam did. Like, what have I done? I have taken of the forbidden fruit. And you know what the forbidden fruit is? It starts off emotionally. Now, as Christian people, we are not to allow emotions to run our lives or to rule our lives. Our emotions should be made to submit to the word of God. You cannot be moved by how you feel, because our feelings are very unreliable. So we have to always be aware, and like a team player, like on a court, we have to cultivate alertness. They have to always be alert at all times on the court, on the floor. Playing the game of basketball at your peak level requires a certain amount of focus, awareness, alertness, and concentration. And sometimes it's very easy to allow our minds to drift onto other matters. However, if you seek to become an outstanding player, then you must get out of the habit of allowing your thoughts to scatter, to wander while you're on the court. The key is to stay focused and to be alert at all times. And everything that's going on around you at every moment on the basketball court and off. You can easily fall off when you're not alert. The enemy can easily trick you. Sharing things with another woman or another man that you had no business sharing with, because now emotions has taken place. So now we at a place where, we all caught up. We don't know what's going on with us. Now we at home and we snapping on our husband because, he ain't saying the things that you want him to say to you, because you have now experienced an emotional connection with somebody else. So what do you do in a time like this when you're so caught up? We have to call a timeout.
Still playing. What you mean timeout? Still playing. You say balling. No, come on. We still playing. We learned our skills. Now it's time to play some games. We ready to ball now. Now let's try this again. Balling. There you go. Now let's say the word tanking. Tanking. It means fail completely. Now we talk about the word fail completely. Completely fail. Now we look at it in the game of basketball. Now, with discussing it, it means deliberately lose or fail to finish a game. Purposely. Yes, team does that in sports. They lose game on purpose. Now, in basketball, owners, GM look at tanking as a good thing. They see it as a good thing. Now, we're going to compare it to our imagine a second. Why? Why do they tank? If they look at it as a good thing, well, why do they do it? We know, one, they look at it as a good thing. This sets them up to get the #1 draft pick in the NBA draft. Now, my team finishes first. I have 1 ping pong ball in the lottery. So it's a lottery. My team finished last. I have 10. So my chance of getting the #1 draft pick is 10-1. I have more chances of getting the #1 draft pick than your team that finished first in the NBA. Right. Now the draft, this is when a player leaves college to go to the NBA. They go through the process of being drafted. Now it's not just you show up in a shirt and tie and you get drafted or picked by a team. No, the process is very gruesome. They go through training camp. They develop your skill. They look at your skills. They have scouts come out and scout you. They also go and look at tape. They spend countless amount of hours watching tape, both on offense and on defense. Let's see what you can do on offense. Let's see what you can do on defense. Now, tanking becomes a franchise decision. All right? Look at it this way. The team, before they begin a tanking process, the team goes through a process. Okay, we're halfway through the season, maybe 3/4, a quarter way through the season. We're 30-10. Our odds of getting over that hump is very slim. So let's begin the tank. So we take our best players out of the game, sit them on the bench, give them some time off, and let our worst players, 9-12, come in and play. Knowing willingly, they're not going to win. We're going to lose. So that, I just gave you an idea of what tanking is. Okay? Now, the same thing in our marriage. We're going through some hiccups in our marriage, and instead of playing hard to finish, we begin to tank. We don't want to face the problems. We don't want to talk it out. We don't want to discuss it. We don't want to go seek counseling. We don't want to do anything anymore. So let's just start tanking. Now, it doesn't have to be both our decisions. I could be tanking and she don't know. You know, I can just stop holding her hands, stop talking to her, stop texting her, stop calling her at work, and just let it go. Now that's the beginning of tanking. Okay? Now, again, with tanking, you see another woman or a man that looks good, that may have potential, as she discussed earlier. Now, you don't spend countless amounts of hours watching tape. You know, watch so many tape. You're a scout now. You know, you have your potential. That's how the NBA works. That's the draft pick. They send scouts out to the college basketball games. College basketball will be 27 to 30 games. So they have scouts watching these games to scout players who has potential to be a #1 draft pick. Okay. Now, not every #1 draft pick is a superstar. We call those NBA draft busts. So you can have your Michael Jordan, but Michael Jordan may have an off game, so now you're out scouting and you go draft somebody else. Now you don't give for Michael Jordan in his prime to go settle for a draft bust. Okay. For example, Houston Rockets, I believe, selected Sam Bowie in the 1984 draft over Michael Jordan. He went second. Now, Michael Jordan went third. Sam Bowie played 2 seasons. Michael Jordan played, 18, 6 rings? Now, Michael Jordan, Sam Bowie. Now, just because Michael Jordan or your husband or wife have an off game doesn't give you the right to go out and start tanking. You got to play hard at this game. Go through your rehabilitation, and then when you're ready to play, let's play. Now, I believe Apostle Susan Howard mentioned it. You take 2 weeks off, and you come back and you praise God. All right, y'all missed it. Okay. Okay. Now, veterans. Everyone say veterans. When speaking of veterans, we talk about NBA vets. These are any player who have experience playing in the league for at least 5 years. Their ages does not matter. It is their number of years experience playing. We're going to get to it. So why am I telling you about NBA veteran? Every team needs at least 1 or 2 vets on the team. Every year a team gets rookies who has no clue how to transition from college, dating, okay, playing in NBA, being married. So we need vets in the game to help us out. So college, dating, NBA, married. All right? Okay. So now we're leaving college, we're entering the NBA, we're married, we're rookies now. Okay, when we first get married, we're rookies at this thing. We don't know what to expect in marriage. Just like a rookie entering the NBA, he doesn't know what to expect. He plays college basketball, he was selected in the draft, he's ready to go. It doesn't work like that. You may sit for at least 2 years before you actually see the floor. The vet's job now in the NBA or an NBA team is to mentor these rookies. So they tell them things like, or teach them things. Hey, don't go to that nightclub. Hey, don't spend your money on a bunch of jewelry or cars. Spend it wisely. The vets are very important to the development of these young rookies' career. Without the vets, the rookies would fall off. Research it. Look at a bunch of rookies who had millions of dollars, and by their second year, they're out of the league because they have no one to mentor them how to spend their money wisely, how to take care of their bodies. The game of basketball is a very gruesome sport. It takes pounding on your knees. So every game you need to ice up and ice down, take get in a whirlpool, the ice bath. It's a lot. So you have to maintain your body to keep up with the game. Now, married people need mentors. And understand this, a mentor is not your boy, your girl. They'll tell you just what you want to hear. That's not what we need. A rookie doesn't need someone telling them just what they want to hear. I don't need you, my boy, to be my mentor. We don't need you, your girl, to be your mentor. You need someone solidified who's been in the league 5 years, who's a proven vet to teach you and coach you and mentor you into the way that you need to go within the marriage. A legitimate mentor is going to check you on your mess. No matter what it is, whether you're right or wrong, you're going to get checked. You're dead wrong. No, you should not be talking like that. You should not be saying that to him or her. Not at all. Now go home and fix your stuff. That's what a legitimate mentor, legitimate vet gonna do. Now, I'm not saying run out and link up with just any mentor, because every vet is not good for your team. Example, LeBron James, when he came in as a rookie, Ricky Davis was a vet on the team. They realized that wasn't working out, so they had to get rid of Ricky Davis, and that allowed LeBron James to flourish. So again, every vet is not meant to be on your team. So what you need to do is seek God. God, who needs to be my mentor? Send me the mentor that I need, that my marriage can succeed in the way that it needs to be. Now, we've established our franchise. We have our skills. We've been taught our skills. We have a few vets on our teams. Now, the season is about to begin. Let's set some team goals. Now, prior to the season, our marriage, the team sets team goals, win a championship. That's the ultimate goal of an NBA team. Now, your ultimate goal being married could be have kids, or buy a house, move out of state, buy estates and so forth and so on. So those are some of the goals that we may set at the beginning of our season. You have those who set their individual goals, which there's nothing wrong with that at all. You need to have individual goals. As a team, we have our team goal, and as two persons, we have our personal goals.
Very good.
Now, your individual goal will feel a lot better, a lot more accomplished if we also accomplish our team goal.
Yeah.
So if we're accomplishing our individual goal and not our team goal, then we're just a bunch of individual players.
Come on.
And some people take pride in just being individual players. Oh, I got a scoring title. My team just lost. We're the starters team in the NBA, and I just won a scoring title. So we'll boast about stuff like that.
Yes.
But the individual accolade is okay, but it makes it a lot better and it feel a lot better when our team wins as a whole. My team just won a championship. I got the scoring title. I'm league MVP. I'm the man. No one can take that away because it's not just individual, it's our team. Now, my senior year in college, just a personal story. My senior year in college, my coach came to me. We're walking after practice, and he said, hey, look, they don't have you listed as one of the best players in the conference. Now, me, I know I've been putting work all summer. I gained a few pounds, bulked up, and I'm ready for the season to go. So I said, look, I hear what they say, but they're going to eat their words at the end of the season. And my individual goal was set. I'm going to be one of the best players in the conference. No care what the naysayers say. Now, we never accomplished our team goal, which was to win the conference, make the championship, and win it all. Though I ended up being one of the best players in the conference that year, it didn't mean much to me. Wow. They gave me a plaque, one of the best players in the conference, that team scoring, but it didn't feel accomplished because our team didn't accomplish much. It doesn't make sense to have the individual goal accomplished if our team is suffering, and on the end we're losing games in and out, and it's like, man, what's going on? We need to win. I know I'm winning, but we need us to win. That's what marriage needs to be. It needs a us to win situation. We have our individual goals, but at the end of the day, it's both of us, our kids, or whoever. Yeah, your kids, your team. That's what it's about. The individual goals is going to come. Let's accomplish our team goals that we have set in place. Amen? Amen. Now, same thing goes for our marriage. If we are winning together, playing together as a team, it's just a big wow. That team is winning. I want what that team has. They are just winning in their marriage. Not winning in what they have, the things that they do, whatever they're winning in their marriage. They love each other. Look how they treat their kids. Look how they treat each other. Look what they do for each other. That's winning. They're accomplishing their team goals. They're winning. That's marriage. Now, again, you're going to go through ups and downs. So don't think about winning, just winning. Going through ups and downs is also a part of winning. Okay. And sometimes, again, we forget that it's a team thing and we start focusing on our individual goals. And now, once we lose focus of our team goal, there's a problem. Once we lose that focus, now our team begins to lose, and now the goal we have set for ourselves doesn't mean much because we no longer have a marriage. So through all that individual accolades, our team is losing so much. You just haven't focused on what you're winning and what you're doing that our marriage is suffering, and you have no idea because you're so fixated and focused on your individual goal, not our team goal. And now we have no marriage because we done lost focus already.
So now that we're here with starting our individual goals, we have to understand that we have to develop the right mindsets in our marriage. We have to developing a basketball mindset means that you may very well have developed all the skills required to excel in a game of basketball. And you may also have the physical strength. You may have the stamina. You may have the height, the athleticism. You may to overwhelm your opponents. But however, all of this is relatively insignificant if you have not taken the time to cultivate the essential basketball mindset that will allow you to take your game to another level. As a matter of fact, the skills that you develop on a basketball court and the mindset that you project go hand in hand and work together to develop the legend as a basketball player. It's important that you work on your own personal spirit, that you help to excel as a basketball player, rather practicing alone within a team or by yourself or in a team setting. So we have to work on ourselves individually too. We have to know how to bring the right attitude to the table. We have to know how to, we have to have the right spirit and the right personal spirit in order to bring to the table what we need in our marriage. And so it's important in every marriage and in every relationship that we continue to work on ourselves.
Somebody say game time. Game time. All right, so we established our franchise, and we got our skills. We have the vets in our team, and we have our team goal. Now it's time to play. Now, the game itself is a game of runs. Teams going back and forth. 1 minute you're up, 1 minute you're down, 1 minute you're tied. So it's a constant exchange of buckets. Now, again, it's about who can make the most runs and sustain it. It's about sustaining it. Once you get a lead, you have to sustain that lead. If not, one slip up and you end up losing the game. So it's about sustaining that lead and staying up. Some teams, they say, don't take your foot. One word they use, don't take your foot off the gas. Once you're up, pedal to the floor and keep going up. And the same thing on marriage. Once you're up, keep going up. Now, yes, in our marriage, we have those days, even weeks, when we are either up or down. You know, holding hands, lovey-dovey, playing, I love you too, Bill. You know, that type of stuff. You know,
Taking praise breaks.
Taking praise breaks. Yes. You know, right now we are up in the game. We are winning. Let's keep up on the gas and keep winning. Now, the real test begins when you're down in the game. Down in the game. We're down a few buckets. Now, it's one thing when you're winning. Your team is celebrating. Everybody in the bench, yes, I'm about to win. We planning what we about to do after the game. We ready, man. I'm about to go out. I'm ready to go. That's how it feels when you're winning. When you're winning, it brings a different type of joy to you. Now, when the test begins now. Our team is down. What are we doing, Coach? What are we going to do? We down 10, a minute 30 left. It's crunch time now. Now, what do we do at this point? Do you roll over and just lose? Some team, they just give up. They put their heads down, and that's it. I was at my son's game 2 weeks ago. You know, fourth and fifth graders, and I'm watching the coach. He's an okay coach. I know a little bit more, so it's kind of hard to judge it. But I'm sitting there watching, and the team is going on a run, and I'm like, okay, well, when is he going to call a timeout? If he doesn't call a timeout now, that team is going to blow us out of the water. And I'm yelling from the bench, timeout, coach, timeout. I'm like, is he here? There's a mom next to me. I'm like, call timeout. By the time he calls timeout, we're already down 25 points. It's too late. It's too late. And at their age, once you reach a certain amount of points, there's no stopping the clock. So there's no way, we just got to play our butt off to try and get back in this game, and there's no telling if we're ever going to catch up, because they're still going to be scoring and we're playing catch up. So it's all about knowing when to call a timeout. Don't just roll over and call it quits in our marriage. We got to know when to take a timeout. If we're going through some stuff and it's been 2 weeks now, okay, 2 weeks is a time limit. Okay, timeout. Timeout. Let's huddle up. Let's go back to the bench. Let's draw up a play and see how we're going to take this thing by storm. We have to call it.
And a lot of times, if we don't call it, we find ourselves getting a technical foul. Or we find ourselves just fouling out.
Make it plain.
So we have to know how to get it under control before we foul out.
Now, we are going to address this issue. That's what you say in timeout. We're going to chip away at this thing. Now, it is our job to listen to the concerns and take them into consideration. Those concerns being what your spouse may have to say. You know, throughout the 2 weeks that we're not communicating and we're not talking and we come together, we take a time out. Okay, now it's time to put everything on the table and see how we're going to chip away at this thing. It doesn't necessarily have to be that we're not talking or we're not communicating. Okay, what if we have this expensive bill? We have this big old debt. Okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to drop a play. We're going to take this big one first, and we're going to move our way down.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in basketball, you know, you're down 25. There's no 25-point shot.
Right.
You got to chip away at it. Get some defensive stop and chip away at the lead and get close enough where we can just spring on them and take the lead. That's what you do. So in a marriage, we're not going to get everything all at once.
Mm-hmm.
We have to take our time and say, what's our biggest issue right now?
Mm-hmm.
Let's tackle that. Now, okay, if we can't do it alone, okay, again, timeout, sub, now we have to bring in our veteran. Now our veteran is our mentor, our marital mentor. What you got for me? You know, again, most teams in bad situations, they have that one vet on the bench that's been in the trenches that knows what to do exactly to get them that win. When Miami Heat won their first championship, there's a team full of vets. The only team personally had on that team that wasn't nearly a vet was Dwayne Wade. Shaq, Antoine Walker, Gary Payton, all vets. In the trenches, all vets. So what we need while we're going through these things we call marriage, we have a difficulty that we can't get over. It's time to call on our mentor, which is the vet that's been married and been through the trenches and know everything that we're going through to talk us and give us some advice. Yeah. That's when our vet come in. Mm-hmm. Importantly, the most in the crucial times. And again, there's nothing wrong with saying, I'm stressed, I can't do this alone, I need you to carry me until I get some Gatorade in me. Let me get some Gatorade, I'm tired. Let me get a breather real quick, man. I'm tired. Let me get some Gatorade. But it's important, very important to really... I can't get out of here. It's very important to actually get that rest and take that time out to really to communicate with each other. Because without the communication, we're just off. We're just running around in circles. You know, a basketball team, if you've ever been to a basketball team, a good team, you always hear the players talking. Screen coming. Watch your back. Box out. I got him. No, you take the shooter. That's how they communicate. The same thing on marriage. No, I got this. You take a rest. Well, I can't handle that. Okay. I know you're good at this and I'm good at that, so you take that and I'll take that. That's communicating. That's how we make the marriage work. Now, during the game, you might get hurt. Mm-hmm. You just might get hurt. Mm-hmm. In basketball game, I've been hurt plenty of times. I've dislocated my finger. I went to the bench, pop it in there. I'm ready to go. I never wanted to get out of the game. And that took away from somebody else who wanted, but coach, I'm ready. Let's do this. I'm ready to go. And that time I was young, so I could play all day long. But I still needed to take a rest. Now, being hurt and getting injured, two different things. Two different things. Now, I can say something or she can say something and we hurt each other's feelings. You know, we take time out, rehabilitate and come back, all right, ready to play now. You know, that's being hurt. The injury can end your career. without a shadow of a doubt, injury can end your career just like that. And what? You go through rehabilitation, and GM's looking like, well, is he going to recover?
Mhm.
Or do we need to go out and trade him for somebody else? It is what it is. That's how they operate.
Mhm.
It's a business. We give you 2 years. If you're not right from that injury, you might be on the trade block come February after All-Star break. You're gone. And it become unexpectedly too. You be living in Denver, and now you have to move to Boston within a couple days.
Yeah.
That's how it works. Now, in marriage, like I said, we hurt each other's feelings, and we come back. Okay, we were hurt. Now, when we injure each other, it's a different story. It's a different ballgame. Now we go out, we slip up, and do whatever, and now we're coming back. I'm injured. An injury, you can go through rehabilitation, see all the doctors, and recover physically. But the most important recovery is the mental recovery. If you haven't recovered mentally, it's going to be hard for you to get back on the floor. Hard. You're not going to be able to play the way you want to play before you got injured. Example, Derrick Rose tore his ACL. He came back after a year. He was timid and came back and got hurt again. Now, the reason being hurt, the doctors say, is that he spent so much time rehabilitating his one knee, he forgot about the other knee. So one knee got strong while the other got weak. So I come in, ready to play, and boom, the knee that I haven't been working on put me out again. I'm out 2 years. Now it's the same thing as when we're injured in our marriage. We're so hurt, and we're so busy trying to get over, recover from that one thing. Something else is going on that we completely forget. And now we say we're going to come back together, and boom. Well, I remember we did this and that, and now we're out again.
Out again.
And again, an injury can end your career. Doing something that you're not supposed to be doing, or going out, or sleeping out, or doing this and doing that, is it worth ending your marriage? One spouse can be weaker than the other mentally. If you can recover physically, but mentally, if you can't put it behind you, and every time you see the person, it reminds you of the thing they have done, you have not yet recovered mentally, and now you're broken, and you cannot recover, you can no longer play. And again, if you can no longer play, I have no use for you. I have to trade you. You have to get traded. And that brings you back to the point where now we're watching tape. We are seeking our potential draft picks. We're out scouting. Again, mental recovery is one of the hardest things to recover from. No matter how much counseling or marital counseling that we may go to recover mentally, no matter how much we as basketball players or go to the doctors, take ice, exercise, we can never, it's very hard to recover from that injury mentally, even though our physical body we are strong, we're back to 100%, but in our minds, we're still 50-50. So until we are mentally ready, let's work on our mentality of how we do things in our marriage. God has invested in our marriage, so let's give him a return on his investments. Be blessed.